Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you had a great week. Today is June 30, 2023, and this is your Friday planning video. What a ride. Counted. We are halfway through this year. You know how I feel about that. The biggest question I ask, and I will ask of you, are we making progress towards our goal? Let's review a bit of what we have on our list. This is what we'll review when we meet. If you want a copy of this checklist, please email me and I'll send it your way. I'll lead off from a structural standpoint. How is your asset allocation? How is your asset location? How about account titles, beneficiaries, retirement plans? Are you on track for maximizing the new annual contribution rates in the 401k, 403b, IRAs, and Roth IRAs? It's summertime, school is out, but are we on track for education savings? How about long-term care and other insurance products that fit special needs you may have? Okay, it's a pretty hearty list. All this is about planning for our goals. Today's all about Yogi Berra Day. So as he said, it's tough to make predictions, especially about the future. But we know some of what's coming. Education expenses, retirement, and as Yogi said, if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else. So what I will continue to do as we enter into Q3 and the second half of the year is bring you checks and balances to be sure we're doing all that we can to be prepared. We'll get into a bit of detail in a moment, but as of this recording, we are on the edge of our seats waiting for the decision today from the Supreme Court on the student loan forgiveness plans. We're expecting it to be struck down as the initial arguments made it seem that way, but as they say, that is why they play the game. So we have to see what comes out. Again, it's expected today. We'll get back to you and let you know. Once that's out, we'll have to see what the president does from there. I'll stay away from too much politics, but suffice it to say, with the youth vote supporting Dems in 2022 midterms, the president will not sit back on this. At least we don't think so. We've talked about the economic implications on the market update videos, and we'll update that this coming Monday, as we should know by then what to expect. So let's move into a quick visit from the tales from the front lines. I've spent a number of meetings recently with retired or newly retired, and their questions are all the same. Do I have enough to stay retired and do what I want to do, when I want to do it, and how I want to do it? This, of course, is what you've heard me say over and over again. This is one goal that is usually front and center. Do what I want to do, when I want to do it, and how I want to do it. For the other meetings, I get the question a lot, do I have enough to retire? And how much do I need to retire? This is one of my favorite topics since it does lead to focus on the goals. A new survey from Schwab says that to be considered wealthy in the U.S. today, you need $2.2 million. Northwest Mutual's recent study said $1.27 million is the number you need for retirement. I'll tell you that the number is different for everyone. As the old ING commercials used to show, you may recall that one where people were walking around with numbers under their arms. Check it out if you like, it's on YouTube. Everyone's number is different, but what we need to do now is try to figure out what that number is and how we can strategize to get there. The number has two inputs, remember. The income from your portfolio that your portfolio can achieve, that's one, and the expenses that you're going to have is the other. That's why it's different for everyone. So going back to what we know and what we don't know, this is when we'll spend some time with calculations, and there's no way to be sure of them. That's why financial planning is an ongoing exercise. One of the biggest errors I see is the number I need too big to even fathom. I give up comments. Usually this comes from looking at your expenses, maybe the healthcare expenses or other things like that, and you calculate those for inflation. This is exactly right. In our early 50s, for example, we're not likely to need long-term care, but we can figure based on projections how much it was going to cost when we're 80. That's a scary number. So here's where the error is. Do you have current investments and a current investment and saving plan? Don't forget, that money should also grow based on projections. So before you look at your assets today and say, how will I pay for this expense in 30 years? It's a prudent exercise to inflate both numbers along with normal projections. This comparison will more likely than not allow you to breathe again. We can do this and we will do this now and constantly as we evaluate your plan. Okay, everyone keeps talking about the long weekend. Markets are open Monday. They do close early, and they're closed on Tuesday, but they are open, and I hope you'll see the market update again on Monday, and more on the planning side coming next Friday. For now, have a great weekend. Please stay in touch. There's a lot going on next week, crammed into the 4 days, not 5. We'll see you next week.